When a narcissist sees you as too strong, they'll try this one last dirty trick. Carl Jung. Carl Jung discovered something terrifying about narcissists that most people never see coming. When they realize they can't control you anymore, they don't just walk away. They deploy one final devastating manipulation that can destroy years of healing in a matter of weeks. And if you don't recognize it, you'll fall right into their trap. But before I reveal this last dirty trick, you need to understand the psychological warfare that leads up to it. Carl Jung said that the narcissist's greatest fear isn't rejection or abandonment. It's the moment when their victim becomes psychologically stronger than they are. According to Jung's research on the shadow self, narcissists project their own weakness onto others to maintain an illusion of superiority. When a narcissist realizes they can no longer control you, they don't give up, they just strike harder. But you won't see anger, just a calculated final move, the most dangerous manipulation Carl Jung ever warned us about. In today's video, we delve into the psychology of narcissistic behavior and reveal the final dirty trick they use to break you, just when you thought you were finally free. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist or are recovering from their control, this is the truth you need to hear. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you never miss ideas to protect your peace and strength. Let's get started. But when you start healing, when you begin setting boundaries and refusing to play their games, something shifts in their psyche. Jung called this the power inversion crisis. And what happens next will shock you. See, narcissists aren't just looking for someone to love them. They're hunting for someone to control, someone whose energy they can feed off of. Carl Jung discovered that these individuals operate from what he termed the inflated ego, a psychological state where they must constantly prove their dominance to avoid confronting their own inner emptiness. When you were weak, confused, or seeking their approval, you served their purpose perfectly. You were their psychological supply, their validation machine. But the moment you start standing in your own power, the moment you stop seeking their approval and start trusting your own instincts, you become a threat to their entire identity. And that's when they pull out the weapon Jung warned us about. According to Carl Jung, narcissists will use a technique called psychological projection warfare. When they sense they're losing control, they don't just gaslight you or play the victim anymore. They launch what Jung described as a final assault on your individuation process. Here's what that looks like and why it's so dangerous. They start by targeting your newfound strength itself. Remember how they used to criticize your weaknesses? Now they flip the script entirely. Carl Jung said this is because they recognize that your strength is the one thing standing between them and total control over you. They'll say things like, "You've changed, and not in a good way. You used to be so caring. Now you're just selfish. Success has really gone to your head. You think you're better than everyone now." But here's the part Jung discovered that will make your blood run cold. This isn't random criticism. According to Carl Jung's analysis of narcissistic behavior, they're specifically targeting the parts of yourself that you're most proud of healing. If you've learned to set boundaries, they'll call you cold. If you found your voice, they'll call you aggressive. If you've built confidence, they'll call you arrogant. Jung called this strength shaming, and it's designed to make you ashamed of the very qualities that set you free. But the real dirty trick is still coming. Carl Jung discovered that when strength shaming doesn't work, narcissists deploy what he termed nostalgic manipulation. They start reminiscing about the old you, the version of yourself that was easier to control. Remember when you used to laugh at my jokes? You were so much happier before you started reading all those self-help books. I miss the person you used to be. We had such a good relationship before you changed. According to Jung, this is psychical time travel designed to pull you back into old patterns. They're not missing the real you. They're missing the controllable you, and if you're not careful, you'll start missing that version of yourself too. But here's where Jung's research gets truly disturbing. When both strength-shaming and nostalgic manipulation fail, narcissists will deploy their most dangerous weapon, manufactured vulnerability. Carl Jung said that narcissists are masterful at recognizing your deepest compassions and using them against you. They'll suddenly become fragile, struggling, or going through a hard time right when you're at your strongest. This is the dirty trick Jung warned us about, and it's more sinister than you think. They'll create a crisis. Maybe it's a health scare, financial trouble, family drama, or emotional breakdown, and they'll time it perfectly to coincide with your moment of strength. According to Carl Jung, this isn't coincidence. It's calculated. Jung discovered that narcissists keep detailed mental notes about what makes you feel guilty, what triggers your caretaking instincts, what causes you to abandon your boundaries. They weaponize your empathy against your healing. And here's the part that will make you question everything you thought you knew about them. Carl Jung said that narcissists will often manufacture these crises by creating the very problems they're asking you to help them solve. They'll sabotage their own relationships, their work, their health, anything to create a situation where you feel obligated to step in and save them. According to Jung's research, this serves two purposes. It pulls you back into the caretaker role. It proves to them that they still have power over you. But Jung discovered something even more chilling about this manipulation. They don't just want your help. They want you to sacrifice your newfound strength to give it to them. Carl Jung observed that narcissists will specifically ask you to compromise the very boundaries and values you've worked hardest to establish. I know you don't usually lend money, but this is different. I know you said you needed space, but I really need you right now. I know you're trying to focus on yourself, but couldn't you just help me this once? According to Carl Jung, every just this once is designed to break down the psychological barriers you've built. They're not asking for help. They're asking you to prove that they still matter more than your own well-being. And if you fall for it, Jung warned, you'll lose everything you've worked for. Carl Jung said that the most dangerous part of manufactured vulnerability is that it feels so real. The narcissist might genuinely be in crisis, but Jung discovered that they're experts at choosing which crisis to share with you and when. They have other people they could call, other resources they could use, but they come to you because they know you're the one who's most likely to sacrifice your boundaries to help them. So how do you protect yourself from this final manipulation? According to Carl Jung, the key is understanding what he called differentiated compassion. You can feel empathy for someone's struggles without feeling responsible for solving them. Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. When a narcissist tries to pull you back into old patterns, even through crisis, you have to ask yourself, is helping them helping me become who I truly am, or is it preventing me from that journey? Jung's final insight about narcissists will change how you see every relationship. Carl Jung discovered that narcissists fear your strength because it reminds them of their own potential for growth. Potential they have abandoned in favor of control and manipulation. When you refuse to shrink yourself to make them comfortable, you're not just setting a boundary. You're showing them what's possible when someone chooses authenticity over approval. And that's exactly why they'll fight so hard to pull you back down. But here's what Carl Jung wants you to remember. Every time you resist their manipulation, every time you maintain your boundaries despite their manufactured crisis, you're not just protecting yourself. You're proving that their power over you was always an illusion. Jung said that true strength isn't about being immune to manipulation. It's about recognizing it, naming it, and choosing your authentic self anyway. Because at the end of the day, their desperation to control you is just proof of how powerful you have already become. The narcissist's final dirty trick only works if you forget who you are. But once you see it for what it is, a last desperate attempt to reclaim control, you realize that their need to manipulate you is actually evidence of your freedom. Carl Jung discovered that the moment you stop being controllable is the moment you truly begin living. And no manufactured crisis, no matter how convincing, is worth trading that freedom away. The narcissist's final evil trick only works if you forget who you are. But their relentless attempt to control you is proof that you've already become uncontrollable. Tell me in the comments if you've tried these tactics before and how you overcame them. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share it with those who need this truth today. Remember, true power isn't in controlling others, it's in choosing yourself. See you next episode.